Hey, dispatch worker. Why did you go home before me? You have no manners even though you're a dispatch worker? Just because it's your first day here doesn't mean you can be lax. Reply to my text, dispatch worker. Good evening, Mr. Cobb. My name isn't dispatch worker, it's Jack Morrow. Who cares about that? I'm asking why you went home earlier than me. Are you underestimating us or something? Do you even have a will to work? Listen up, if you're going to work under me, then I'm going to have to be strict on you. Even if you are just a lowly dispatch worker. I'm not going to let you not take your work seriously. If I may, I think it can't be helped if a dispatch worker goes home earlier than the full-time employees. What? Do you think this job is a game or something? I intend to do my work properly, and I think I worked hard enough today as well. Then why did you disobey me and go home early? I told you not to go home before your superiors, but you didn't follow my orders. Besides, who said a dispatch worker like you could even have an opinion? It's not my opinion. I'm just talking about my terms of employment. Huh? Your terms of employment? There needs to be a regular employee with me while I'm doing work. Making part-time workers or dispatch workers do stuff on their own is banned. The only people who can lock the doors of the factories and the offices in this branch office are the full-time employees who have keys. The only 3 people left were me, you, and the part-time worker Miss Knox, so if you were to go home, then me and Miss Knox would have to go home as well, right? But if you do that, then there's going to be unfinished work. But isn't it going to be a problem if you just leave me in the office? Not only that, I'd like to correct you on a fundamental error in your logic. What is it? In the first place, I wasn't assigned to work in the factory. I was assigned to work in the office. What? Really? Yes. I was temporarily dispatched since the office was suddenly extremely low on staff because of people suddenly going on parental leave or having to be hospitalized. It was decided from the start that I would only be working here for 3 months until the employees return. Seriously? By the way, the only reason I did a bit of work in the factory today was because our managers thought that it would help with my work if I got to know how things were in the factories. I'm going to be doing desk work at the office from tomorrow. So you're not the one who's going to give me orders. The supervisor in the office is. Oh, is that so? Are we all right now? Oh, yeah, you can go now. Well then, goodbye. So you weren't one of my subordinates. I'm misleading. Hey, dispatch worker. My name is Jack, Mr. Cobb. It seems your dispatch period ends today, huh? Yes, thank you for having me. I mean, I guess it's only obvious for an impolite person who doesn't listen to what others say like you to be fired. What is it? There's no use trying to flatter me now, it's too late. I told you on my first day of work, right? It was decided that my dispatch period would be for 3 months from the start. There was no plan of extending the period either, so it's not that I'm being fired. Oh, is that so? Again, thank you for having me. Goodbye. Wait, I thought that I had seen you somewhere before, but to think, you're Jack, right? The dispatch worker who was fired after 3 months 5 years ago? That reminds me. They were saying that several dispatch workers will be joining the factory workforce today. I see. This means that this time for sure you've been dispatched as one of my subordinates. Hold on, you're still living on that low salary of a dispatch worker after even 5 years? It seemed that you were quite the useless worker. It looks like it's almost time for the morning assembly. I heard that some high-ranking person from a new department at the company headquarters is going to be visiting today. I'm going to show the people in the main company how competent I am, and at the same time, show you how things are going to be around here as your boss. Why did you punch me as soon as the morning assembly started? It's only natural that useless low-ranking employees like you get punched. Work your ass off today as well. It seems you still don't understand the position you're in. Huh? Why don't you think about this carefully? No matter what the reason is, punching someone will cause a huge commotion. Don't you think that under regular circumstances, you would have been subdued on the spot? No one stopped me because everyone knows that my style of education is flawless and correct. No, the reason no one stopped you even though you punched me is because I had told everyone prior not to lay their hands on you until I say so. What? Now, I saw the text you sent me before this morning assembly. That's when I remembered that there were rumors about you going about in the company headquarters, but how you weren't doing well with your employees' relationships. And so I decided to not say anything and see how you would behave. I'm going to send this conversation to HQ. I kindly ask for your cooperation. Huh? Why are you talking as if you're the one heading the morning assembly? You're just a dispatch worker. I see. So you really haven't noticed yet. What is it? I came from the company headquarters. You came from HQ? Yes, I am now a full-time employee who works at HQ. By the way, I'm also the head of compliance starting from this year. What? I'll answer your questions in detail later. It looks like the swelling on my cheek is quite serious, so I'm going to go to the clinic. Hey, hold on! Since when were you a full-time employee who worked at HQ? Hey, you should be home by now, right? What's the meaning of this? Explain it to me right now. It means that you're banned from coming to work. Yes, it was really tough for me after that, you know. Immediately after I finished texting you, I was called by the head of this branch office and told not to come to work anymore. All I did was try to teach you your place as a lowly, useless dispatch worker. Why are you now the head of a new department at HQ? It's only been 5 years. When did all this happen? Well, it happened 5 years ago. While I was working here as a dispatch worker for 3 months, I noticed that the work done on computers in this branch office is quite inefficient. So I did as much as I could as a dispatch worker to optimize the speed of work. The head of this branch office and even people from HQ noticed what I had done, and they were kind enough to give me a job at HQ as a full-time employee. But even still, how were you able to become a department head in only 5 years? As regards to that, I'm not the only one. 2 years ago, I was invited to be one of the founding members of the new department, and the head of this new department was an employee aged 34. Huh? The head was the same age as me? It might look like he was promoted to a high position at an extremely young age when you compare it to the rest of the company. But the average age of this new department was 28. Considering this, I think you'll find it more believable that I was eventually chosen to become the head at the age of 30. Seriously? Well, there's really no point in me talking about my job, so I'll stop talking about this topic. What I wanted to talk about is how you suddenly punched me, who came from HQ to see how things were going here during today's morning assembly. I didn't know. I heard that new dispatch workers will be joining the factory workforce today, and that's when I saw you, so I assumed that you were here as a dispatch worker again. But I heard that the new dispatch workers would be coming tomorrow. What? It seems you didn't know the company's schedule, but that's not the point. No matter who the other person is, and no matter what your positions are, punching someone in the face is most of the time frowned upon. I just had a little misunderstanding. Don't you think we need to take that into consideration? Even if I were a dispatch worker, punching me in the face would have been a serious offense. It's not as if you were protecting yourself as well. You obviously just suddenly punched me. That's the reason you're being punished. Come on, I'm begging you. I'm about to get married. You're getting married? I plan on proposing to her soon. And my girlfriend is waiting for me to propose to her as well. You got a girlfriend? You know her as well, right? It's Miss Knox, the part-time worker from the office. What? Ms. Knox? But I was suddenly told not to come to work, so... if I may. I want to find happiness with her. But Ms. Knox is the wife of the factory head's son, didn't you know? What? It seems that she goes by her maiden name, Knox, while at the company. You're lying. Her husband is an employee at HQ, so I know him. They have a child who's turning 10 this year, if I remember correctly. No way, that's impossible. But Miss Knox comes to meet me every morning. Miss Knox is in charge of handing out the things that came with delivery to each department, right? Of course she comes to the factory every day. During lunch break too, she brings me lunch boxes to make herself look good as a wife. But I heard that her husband was in charge of making their lunch boxes. It seems that there's one more thing that we need to investigate. Hold on. I'm going to report this to HQ. Don't do this, please. Sorry, but the cheek which you punched still stings, so... I have bigger problems. Goodbye. I'm impressed someone like him was able to become the manager. But it seems like he was fairly competent at his actual work, which is why he was promoted in the first place. That being said, though, luckily I wasn't seriously injured when Mr. Cobb punched me in the face. But obviously I couldn't just let it go, so I filed a report on him. Ms. Knox, who he had apparently been stalking, filed a report on him as well. We have no intention of settling this outside of court with him. After the whole debacle, Mr. Cobb was now in possession of a criminal record and was fired from the company. He used all the money he had saved up to pay for the alimonies, which were massive. Me and Ms. Knox had asked from him, and he was forced to start over from scratch. No, it was even worse than starting over from scratch for him, as he was now in the possession of a criminal record. Unless he does something about how he treats other people, I doubt he'll be able to live a happy life in the future.
Hey, you totally don't have to do it if you don't want to. Seriously, there's no pressure to introduce yourself to him if you're not feeling it. This is our call, not his.
I'm sorry, but it's important for me to take this step. If we're truly committed to getting married, I want to introduce myself to your parents beforehand. I know that your father can be strict, but it's a respectful gesture I should make if I want to become your husband.
Unfortunately, he's not just strict. He's a real challenge to have a conversation with.
I believe I'll be okay. After all, he doesn't know anything about me yet, right?
I've only mentioned to him that I have a boyfriend, because I haven't gone into detail about what kind of person you are. Lately, he's been getting on my nerves. He keeps prying into personal stuff about you, you know? I told him that you had to leave school to start working, and he lost it completely.
Oh, really? Why would he become furious?
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure. But like I said before, my dad's just a tough nut to crack when it comes to conversation.
I wonder if that's the issue. Maybe he's not happy about the fact that I didn't graduate high school. I've encountered that kind of judgment quite often. People tend to look down on me simply because I'm a high school dropout.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. He's the type who places a lot of emphasis on grades and accomplishments. Being the CEO of a company, those things hold significant value to him. I'm sorry if it's offensive to you in any way.
I can understand where he's coming from. I mean, he is the CEO of Zenith Enterprises, a major player in the business world. It makes sense that he might not be thrilled if someone like me asks to marry his daughter. But despite that, I really want to seek his blessing before we take the plunge. It just doesn't feel right to get married without talking to him first. I can't say for sure he'll like me, but it's something I feel compelled to do.
Well, you don't have to go through all that hassle. How about we just run off to some distant city and get married there? I mean, I left my parents' place because I could not stand my dad anymore. I'm itching to break free from him, you know? Once we're married, I'll finally make a clean break.
We can consider those options if he doesn't give me his permission to marry you. It's worth giving it a shot before completely giving up, right? We can't predict the future after all. There's a possibility he might end up liking me.
I highly doubt it, to be honest. Why do we have to play by all these rules anyway? We don't need his permission to get married, you know?
You know me so well, don't you? You're aware that I prefer to abide by societal norms whenever I can.
Yeah, I know your personality well. I just feel like trying to convince him is a waste of time. But if you're dead set on doing this, I'll talk to him and arrange a meeting. I'm pretty sure it's going to end badly, though, just saying. Remember, I did warn you about it.
Don't worry. I'll handle it. I'll go talk to him on my own. You can stay home, alright?
I appreciate your concerns, really. Just remember, he can be pretty intense with his words. It might get a little bit intimidating if you're not used to it.
Okay, thanks for the advice. I'll keep it in mind.
You miserable excuse for a human being. I swear on everything sacred, if I ever catch a glimpse of your sorry self in my house again, you'll regret it. You're nothing but a bottom-dwelling parasite, feeding off the scraps of decency. I wouldn't even wish to breathe the same air as your filthy existence. Right this damn instant, get the hell out of my house. Don't you dare test my patience any longer.
Wow, this is way worse than I anticipated. You're more aggressive than anyone I've ever met.
You're nothing but a worthless piece of trash. I can't believe I'm even bothering to waste my precious time talking to someone like you. I see right through your little game, you gold digger. I mean, just look at your greedy face, practically oozing with desperation for my money. It's crystal clear that the only reason you're interested in marrying my daughter is to get your grubby hands on my wealth. Talking to you makes me physically nauseous, right from the pit of my stomach.
Sir, please, try to relax and take a moment to compose yourself. There's honestly no reason for you to be so consumed by anger. I really have no interest in your money. I'm not a materialistic person, you know? My love for your daughter is sincere and comes from the depths of my heart. That's the sole reason I wish to marry her.
Man, I am beyond disappointed in Natasha right now. I mean, seriously, she's actually with a high school dropout like you? You're scraping the absolute bottom of the barrel in our society. Where the hell is she anyway? I know damn well you've kidnapped her or something. Quit wasting my time and hand her over already.
I have not kidnapped her. She is living with me because she wants to. I decided to come here alone today because I didn't want her to worry about me. I wanted to talk to you, man to man.
Why on earth would I ever want to waste my precious time talking to someone like you? Your breath reeks so badly that it's literally suffocating me. I genuinely wish you would just shut up and keep that foul mouth of yours closed, because it's turning the whole damn house into a stinkfest. Seriously, what the hell do you even eat every day? Do you chug from the sewage like it's your personal beverage dispenser, or what?
The insults just keep pouring in, don't they? I better grab my notepad and pen, because I definitely want to take notes on how to be a master of mockery. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll have the pleasure of using them on someone deserving.
Oh, quit with the smart aleck act already. You didn't even manage to graduate high school, for crying out loud. While you were out there slacking off, I've been busting my ass, dedicating my life to studying and achieving greatness. I've reached heights you could only dream of, graduating from a top-notch university. I've been climbing the corporate ladder at elite companies ever since, and guess what? I'm currently the CEO of Zenith Enterprises, in case you forgot.
Yes, I'm already aware of all that. Your company, Zenith Enterprises, has quite a reputation, and I've actually heard of it before as well.
Listen up, you low-life criminal. I've got an ironclad sense of justice coursing through my veins, and I won't stand idly by while scumbags like you threaten the safety of my family.
Hold on a moment. Let's take a step back here. I believe you're blowing things out of proportion. I assure you, I am not a criminal in any way. I really don't understand what you're trying to say.
Oh, please, spare me the innocent act. Maybe you're not a criminal at this very moment, but mark my words, you're destined to join their ranks sooner or later. I can practically read it on your face, those sneaky little expressions that scream, future criminal. Don't think for a second that you can fool me with your feeble attempts at innocence.
I'm really curious as to what kind of face I was making when I was talking to you. It's fascinating to think about what impression I might have unintentionally conveyed. In any case, I'm sorry if I did something to offend you in any way.
Oh, look at you, the epitome of ignorance. I can tell you've never bothered to crack open a book in your entire life. You're nothing more than a pathetic high school dropout, aren't you? I wouldn't be surprised if your own dim-witted parents were nothing but a bunch of incompetent criminals themselves, letting you abandon your education like it's some kind of joke. Any decent parent with 2 brain cells to rub together would never allow their child to make such a foolish decision. But hey, I guess you come from a long line of moronic lawbreakers.
Could you please refrain from discussing my parents in such a manner? My mother faced the challenging task of raising me single-handedly while battling an illness. I made the difficult decision to leave high school solely to support her financially, covering both her medical expenses and our daily living costs.
Wow, your family is desperately broke, aren't they? It's pretty obvious that your parents didn't bother saving any money. How irresponsible of them.
Are you seriously saying that? How could you say such a thing?
Your sob story is so tragic, it's laughable. You really think I'm going to feel sorry for you? Well, think again. I don't care how much you try to manipulate my emotions. I'm not going to hand over my precious daughter to a pathetic loser like you. No way. I have high standards, and I want my daughter to marry someone who's actually worth something. Clearly, you're just a lazy good-for-nothing who can't even take care of themselves, let alone provide for a family. So, save your pity party for someone who actually cares, because it's not going to work on me.
Did you really just refer to me as a lazy good-for-nothing? I've put in tremendous effort to reach the position I'm in today. I don't perceive myself as a failure in any way. Also, I'm serious. Don't insult my parents ever again. I hold a deep appreciation of my mother, and even if given the opportunity, I wouldn't want anyone else to have raised me.
That excuse is beyond weak, and it's definitely not going to cut it if you think you're worthy of marrying my daughter. Instead of wasting your breath with these pointless stories, why don't you actually contribute something meaningful to society? Maybe then we can have a conversation worth having. But until then, don't even bother trying to convince me of your worthiness. It's an absolute joke.
I guess it's pointless trying to have a normal conversation with you.
Oh, look at you, you pathetic leech. It's crystal clear that all you're after is my hard-earned cash, using my daughter as your golden ticket to a life of luxury. Well, newsflash, you delusional dropout, I would never even consider entrusting my precious daughter to a lowlife like you. Couldn't even finish high school. So, do us all a favor and get the hell out of here right this instant. Your presence is not only an insult, but it's also an utter waste of my valuable time. Scram, you worthless parasite.
Fine. I'll do as you say. Goodbye.
Yeah, that's right, you piece of trash.
Man, what is up with your dad? He's totally off his rocker.
Babe, this is exactly why I keep telling you not to bother seeing him. I tried so hard to get through to you, but you just wouldn't listen to a word I said.
I honestly didn't expect him to be such a horrible person. I've never met anyone as despicable as him before. Is he truly the CEO of a company? It's difficult to think that someone like him can hold any position of authority and expect to be respected.
Honestly, I feel like he's gotten even more arrogant and obnoxious since he climbed up the corporate ladder. So, tell me, what ended up happening after you had that encounter with him?
We couldn't even have a decent conversation. He was just constantly throwing insults my way, so I made the smart move and walked out. Screw all this drama. Let's just do what you suggested from the start and elope. It would have saved us so much trouble.
Yeah, we should have just done that from the start. Sometimes it's alright to bend the rules a little bit, especially when we're not doing anything illegal. It's a bummer, though. I had this tiny sliver of hope that against all odds you two would hit it off somehow. But hey, he's in for a real shocker when he finally discovers who you truly are. I can't wait to see the look on his face.
I had hoped that he would recognize me when I went to see him. But to my disappointment, he didn't even give me a chance to speak. He simply told me to go home without any opportunity to explain myself. It was disheartening, to say the least.
He's getting up there in age, so maybe his memory isn't what it used to be. Plus, you had that mask on, right? No wonder he didn't recognize you. But you know what? None of that really matters anymore. I'm done with him. I'm cutting all ties. We don't have to see or talk to him ever again.
You know what? I think that's the best decision we could make. And I gotta say, I'm seriously blown away by how you turned out to be such a compassionate person, considering he's your dad and all.
It's probably all thanks to your mom. She was truly an amazing person. It's just so unfortunate that she passed away at such a young age. I've made every effort to overcome such an immense loss, but it's still proving to be too overwhelming for me.
I am really thankful for your mother.
Yeah, I am as well. I miss her so much. I'm glad that you're here with me, Dean.
Hello? It's me, Natasha's father.
What's the matter? Do you have something to ask me?
It's just that I received a letter from her this morning. It said that she's cutting all ties with me and that your name is Dean Elliot.
I see. I had no idea that she sent a letter to you. That's very kind of her. I'm sorry to say this, but I'm going to get married to her regardless of what you said to me.
That doesn't really matter right now. Are you telling me that you're really Dean Elliot?
Yes, you're right. I am the person featured in the TV advertisements for Zenith Enterprises. I work as an actor.
Wow, I had no idea about that. It's quite surprising, to be honest. I'm curious, though, why didn't you mention it during our meeting the other day?
I was told to get out before we could even have a normal conversation. You just kept on spitting insult after insult. You probably weren't listening to a single word that I said anyway.
I'm sorry about how I treated you. I was probably having a very rough day.
Okay. Why did you decide to contact me? I don't particularly want to be talking to you. If you have nothing to say, then I'm going to put my phone down.
I want you to let me apologize to you. I had no idea you were Dean Elliot. I'm sorry for my attitude that day. I guess I was a little harsh on you.
I'm not going to forgive you even if you apologize to me. You were being overly aggressive and never gave me a chance. I'm never going to forget that. I could never say the things that you said to me, even to my worst enemy.
I'm very sorry for the things I said to you. I understand why you wouldn't want to forgive me. If I knew who you were, I never would have treated you that way.
I may be successful now. It still doesn't change the fact that I was born in a poor family and that I dropped out of high school. Everything that you said to me hit me where it hurts. Not to mention brought up painful memories. It's not something that I can just forget.
Wait, I didn't actually mean any of that. I didn't think you would take my words so seriously, to be honest.
Also, you never would have apologized if I wasn't Dean Elliot, right? You're only saying sorry after realizing who I am. There's just no way that I can forgive a person like you. Your apologies sound so empty to me. Do you really know what you did wrong?
Of course I know what I did wrong. I got a little too carried away because I didn't know who you were.
You really don't get it. You shouldn't be that aggressive, no matter who you're talking to. It doesn't matter if you're talking to a famous actor or a high school dropout. You need to treat everyone with more respect.
Yeah, maybe that's true.
I know why you're apologizing to me. This is very bad for you and the company if it gets out. The CEO of a company shouldn't be calling the poster child a piece of trash. I'm sure you also falsely accused me of being a criminal? I wonder what would happen to you if the entire world found out about this.
Are you threatening me right now?
No, I wouldn't do such a thing. I have no intention of telling the world what you said to me. It's just that Natasha seemed very adamant on telling the world about everything. I did try to stop her, but I'm not sure it was enough. If I were you, I'd try to talk to her about it.
What are you saying? Is she trying to destroy my life?
Seems like she has a lot of hatred towards you. Now that she's cut ties with you, who knows what she might try to do.
That can't be good. I better talk to her right away. Hey, Natasha. I heard what's going on from Tom. I heard that you're planning to release my secrets to the world. Are you trying to destroy my life?
Yeah, it's really true. I've had to endure so much pain being raised by you. I also saw the text you sent to him. I was absolutely disgusted. How could you talk to people like that? I've already leaked all the screenshots and other things to the media. This is just a little revenge from me.
Wait, what? You're joking, right?
I'm not joking at all. I can't forgive you for what you did to us. I was just planning to cut ties with you, but that would be boring.
How dare you do such a thing? This is going to cause problems for so many people. Your stupid decision is going to make the value of my company's stock go down. All of my employees and the owners of my company's stock are really going to struggle.
I'm sorry, but I really don't care about that. I'm sure they'll all be fine in the end.
Please hold on a minute. Could you please rethink this? I need you to do something about this.
There's nothing I can do about it now. The information is already spreading around the internet. It's going to be all over the place by tomorrow.
My work phone won't stop ringing. I can't believe what you've done to me. Aren't you my daughter?
Yes, I am your daughter. I had to be the one to do this. No one else would be brave enough to stand up to you. You're going to have to resign from your position. That's the only way you can stop matters from getting worse. You need to give up and resign right now.
There is no way I'm resigning my position. That company is going nowhere without me. All the employees respect and looked up to me. What are they going to do without me leading them?
Wait, what? Do you really think they'll respect and look up to you? You're joking, right? All of your employees are over the moon about finding out what you did.
Wait, what?
Nobody at the company respects you. They were just scared of you and the power that you had. You would insult and threaten them all when they didn't listen to you. I also heard some bad rumors about you from the young women in the company.
That's because...
I've also been talking to some people that work for you, and I've heard some horrifying stories about you. I'm going to send all these stories to the media as well. That's about all I want to say to you, and I'm finally going to cut ties with you for real this time. Goodbye.
Wait, please don't go yet. I really will apologize for everything that I did. Please don't abandon me. We're family, aren't we? If you abandon me, I'll have no one else left.
I don't want to be a part of your family. You're a terrible human being.
I promise that I'll change myself. I plan to treat other people with respect from now on. I'm begging you to please come back and live with me.
I'm sorry, but that's never going to happen. I hate you as a person. And also, one more thing, you absolutely stink.
After his daughter severed all ties with him, he was forced to resign from his position at the company. It became inevitable once major news outlets began exposing his actions to the world. Recordings of his voice and stories detailing his mistreatment of employees were leaked, intensifying the situation. He quickly transformed into one of society's most despised people, making it highly unlikely for him to secure future employment. Moreover, he faced multiple lawsuits from former employees, citing harassment and sexual abuse among other grievances. The resulting damages he had to pay amounted to millions of dollars. Presently, he resides alone in his sprawling house, rarely venturing outside due to the constant harassment from people who taunt him about his foul reputation. It's become a sick game for some to capture his reactions and share them online. In contrast, I'm genuinely relieved that we chose to marry without his blessing. It was a wise decision to distance ourselves from that toxic influence.